And I'm not an architect, I'm a storyteller, I love history, and I'm really happy to share the history of our building with you tonight. Okay, here goes nothing. No pressure. So I have what has been described to me as the coolest job in Buffalo, because I get to play with all the cool artifacts, I get to put them on display, I get to hear people's stories, and I get to relay them to other people. But I'm just a caretaker here. The museum is a collection of things, it's not a place. So just as I'm a caretaker and somebody will come after me, something will come after this building. The collection has been housed in a few different places, but it was all started by 7 men. These are 2 of them, William Dorsheimer on the left, Millard Fillmore on the right. Fillmore gets all the credit, but Dorsheimer was really, I call him the man behind the curtain. He was involved in bringing Olmsted to town, he was involved in bringing Richardson to town, and he started a lot of our great organizations. What we see here is our first home at the YMA building on Main and Eagle Streets. When we were founded in 1862, this was our first location. We were paired up with the Academy of Fine Arts and the Academy of Natural Sciences, so it's kind of a cultural epicenter. We were always short of money. Guess what? We still are. Okay. Number 4, Western Savings Bank. Down here, lower left. This is Lafayette Square would be down on the left side of this. You're looking at Main Street. This was our second home. So we moved here. We are basically being kept in in a vault, basically. It's bag storage, and we paid rent of $400 annually. We were still having a hard time to meet that rent. Here we have the Buffalo Library, which is our third home, and we are again joined up again with the Art Gallery and the Science Museum in the library. You can see a sign there for a watercolor exhibit. But then, in 1901, or in 1899, Buffalo plans for the Pan American Exposition, which would be a World's Fair to celebrate the achievements of the Western Hemisphere, to foster better relations between North, South, and Central America. And New York State is going to be one of the 19 different states and countries that sponsors the building. And here's the New York State building. We're currently sitting in it. This is a smaller version of it, though. We'll get to that later. So, whereas all the buildings at the exposition were going to be temporary, all except this one, they were made of plaster, they were made of wood frames. This one was built to be permanent. It's made of Vermont marble, and it took a little bit longer to complete. But they built the whole thing for $180,000. The History Museum of the State of New York and the city pooled their money together. The architect for the project was George Carey, who designed the southern portico to be a model of the Parthenon of ancient Greece, and together with the Fine Arts Pavilion, which was going to be the Erechtheion, it was supposed to mirror the Acropolis of ancient Greece. This is a shot of the marble quarries. The marble that the building is made of is Vermont marble from Danby and Ildemont quarries. This is a shot from about 1910, so this would have been similar to the marble that was used on the exterior of this building. The interior of the building, the floor, the beautiful black floor that we worked so hard to polish, is actually made of limestone. And we had a representative from the Science Museum, a PhD geologist, came in here, and we wanted to identify exactly what the fossils were in the floor and how old they were. She identified them as ammonites, cephalopods, and brachiopods, their presence putting the age of the limestone at least 65 million years old. Wow, I was right. The New York State building at the Pan Am. So this is a map of the southern half of the Pan Am. We would be down, you see the North Bay where the electric fountain is. We are that red little blob to the northwest of it. We would have been one of the first buildings the 8 million people that came to the fair saw as they walked out of the Pan Am grounds. Because we were on the Elmwood Gate. There were 7 entrances to the Pan Am. The Elmwood Gate was one of the more popular ones. So, after the Pan Am, the ownership of the New York State building is transferred to the Historical Society on September 30th, 1902. On the right, you see a newspaper article that celebrates the event, and on the left is an indenture. We don't have a deed to the building. This is kind of what symbolizes the ownership of the building, and it's currently in the boardroom just a few feet away. Additions. This is a shot pre-additions. The room we're standing in right now from these pillars forward did not exist up until 1928. They were added on by original architect George Carey. They provided they're on the other side too, where the library is. They provided an additional 9,000 square feet for exhibits, auditorium, like I said, and library space. So these are carvings that are on the exterior of the building. In the addition in 1928, sculptor Edmund Adanteas created a series of exterior panels which highlight important scenes in history. This is Commodore Perry at the Battle of Lake Erie in 1813. There's, I think, 9 other ones. One of the things we love to do when we design exhibits, we've been doing this for the past 10 years or so is getting away from creating large immersive experiences that kind of detract from the architecture of the building. This is an exhibit continuum we opened a couple years ago. We prefer an open floor plan and letting the beauty of our largest artifact, which is the building, really shine through. Here's a couple shots. Another speaker's going to get into this more, but this is our last project under the portico. We call it the Penfold Portico now, which is exhibit space. These are two doors under there. This area was closed for decades because of water intrusion, and in 2021 we were able to reopen it. These are two shots of the doors before and after construction. This is a shot during renovation. I hope you all have an opportunity to head downstairs when we're done with these presentations. It's really one of the most gorgeous rooms that, well, I think in any museums around here. This for a long time was our street of shops, which were a Victorian street, artificial streetscape, and we've transformed it into a room where we can have changing exhibits. So right now, we've got, in 2021, we had the first exhibit, which was an Indigenous art exhibit featuring the work of Marie Watts. Since then, we've had 3 other displays. Currently down there, we've got a stained glass display that we made in partnership with the Stained Glass Association of America. And again, I encourage you to go see it. And that's it. That was a really short amount of time.